Could you ever have imagined a time when the Lionesses would have achieved this level of success?
Well, it feels like it's been in the pipeline for many years, with the investment and the growth of the game within the FA, and obviously our domestic league with the WSL as well. But yeah, it's the most phenomenal achievement. I think anyone who watched the game last night, which sounds like pretty much the whole country, the whole of Europe and the world had eyes on the game, and I think we all know the characteristics that the England players showed were absolutely magnificent. And yeah, in my eyes, fully deserved winners for the resilience and the characteristics that they showed. The character to come back in games throughout the whole tournament was so inspiring. And just listening to those fans speaking there that you were speaking to, it really put a smile on my face, because that is exactly the impact it's having on the future of our game in this country.
Yeah, so much to be gained from a success like this, isn't it? You mentioned the resilience. I mean, England led, as just mentioned, for just over 4 minutes in the knockout stages. That's all, but it doesn't really matter. It's that never say die attitude. You mentioned the resilience. It made this tournament all the more special.
That's right, and the Euro 2022 win was very much won by England playing really nice football at times throughout the tournament, and I think we saw patches of that throughout this tournament in Switzerland, but we didn't see it in abundance. But what we did see is, like you say there, the resilience and the character within the squad to come down and sort of bring themselves out of what looked like the ashes at times, and yeah, they've just inspired so many people. They've evolved in their football under Wiegman. The players are well and truly household names, and just seeing there Georgia Stanway and obviously Sarina Wiegman, the head of it all. Yeah, she must be feeling so relieved. It was the most incredible achievement, and I'm very excited for them all to return and see the impact that it's had on our country as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Chloe Kelly, we're seeing pictures of her, said she nearly quit football before moving to Arsenal. She wasn't getting many minutes, was she, at your old club, Manchester City? She's now a European and Champions League winner. It's quite an incredible story, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And when she stepped up to take the penalty last night, which ended up being the winning penalty, I don't think there's any other player you'd want in that moment, with the level of confidence and aura that she has. And you knew she was going to fire it home, and just the whole country just erupted in that very moment. And yeah, I think she's got a remarkable story, from where she's come from to where she's got to now. And I don't think we've seen the end of the Chloe Kelly highs as well. I think there's so many exciting more things ahead for her in the future domestically with her new club Arsenal. Of course, being a Champions League winner with them and coming off the back of this Euros win is the most incredible 6 months for her, and it's a wonderful story to see evolve.
Well, talking of incredible stories, that Lucy Bronze, she played with a broken shin. How much does that represent the courage of this side?
Well, to be honest, knowing Lucy the way I know her, we've been through, we've been through a lot together. We've been in the trenches as former teammates for England and for club sides, and I know what she's like. It didn't surprise me when she said that. It wasn't really a shock, but I was receiving so many text messages at the time going, "Can you believe Lucy played with a broken leg?" And I was thinking, yeah, I can, because if anyone can, it's her. And her performances throughout the tournament were absolutely outstanding, along with many others in that team as well, and the whole squad. In fact, you could credit every single player and staff member, but Lucy Bronze is built something different, and she comes from the north, and I think she showed it. She loves it when it gets tough. She really gets going, and I think that she epitomised what this team has been all about, and the belief that she kind of instills in the rest of the group is incredible. She really is a born winner, and the way she believes in herself really does inspire her teammates as well. And it just seems like such a fitting, finale to the tournament. Lucy's kind of the way that she finished it, coming off, the last game, a few minutes short at the end, but just her presence was enough for the girls to bring it home.
Yeah, a lot of the players as well heap praise on their manager, understandably so. So that was Sarina Wiegman's 5th major final. She's won 3 Euro titles in a row. Best manager in the world for you?
She is, yeah. I mean, absolutely. And you didn't put those words in my mouth either. I'd say the same. I really would. I think the way that she's evolved the team, the group, she dealt with so many different types of upsets or kind of rocky patches leading into the tournament. Obviously, the huge shock from Sarina Wiegman's end of Mary Earps deciding that she was going to retire from international football, weeks out of retire from international tournament. I think just goes to show the way that she dealt with that situation. I think just goes to steadied the ship and really sent a message to the rest of the group as if to say it's okay, like we'll control the rest and we'll control our destiny. And it just so happens to be Hannah Hampton ended up being one of England's standout players of the tournament, who was and I think that the player management of Wiegman is there for everybody in the world to see how great she is with the group. And what I love about it is she's just let every single player just be themselves. And she's created that environment where everyone can just thrive and become the best version of themselves. And we're ultimately seeing a group of 23 women who have gone out there, absolutely women who have, torn it up and come home with the trophy and a winner's medal. It's the most incredible achievement.
And next up, of course, the players are going to Downing Street this evening as they continue their celebrations. How powerful as they continue these images for the growth of the game?
Absolutely. Honestly, I think that where the game's at right now is exactly where it should be. The game's at right where it needs to be, and where everybody who's been working behind the scenes for many years. People probably didn't believe this type of impact would ever happen, has happened. And I think there's so much to be enjoyed in the present moment. And I think the coming season with the WSL is going to be absolutely massive. I think the impact that this group has had on the nation and the way it'll transfer towards our domestic game is going to be so powerful. And obviously, like you say, with the team visiting Downing Street this evening, it really is visible for everybody to see what incredible role models these players are, and staff as well, who've all contributed in so many different ways that people probably won't ever know towards this victory. And for me, it's the role model effect, and I think the infiltration down the pyramid of football in this country will be so powerful.
And of course, the players are very aware, Izzy, aren't they, the effect, the powerful effect they can have. They've been a real force for change, haven't they? I mean, was it after the last tournament where they wrote an open letter? They wanted to make sure that every girl at school had an opportunity to play football. We've seen the growth of football, girls' football in schools. It's a hell of a legacy to leave.
It is, and it is really the most obvious thing with role models is that if you can see it, you can believe it, and you can be it. And if you can, the impact that these girls have had, and I think what I love most about the victory yesterday and the whole tournament, in essence, is the characteristics that you can transfer from football into life: resilience, being knocked down but getting back. The self-belief and the confidence and the power of being a successful team has so many impacts, not just in football but in other sports, but also so many impacts in children's school life as well. Sometimes not get what you want, but if you have the power and the resilience to keep trying, you might end up getting to where you want to be. And I think this team has completely summed that up. There were times during this tournament where they looked down and out, against Sweden, even against Italy, and players have written their own stories. Michelle Agyman comes off the bench and she does it once, she does it twice, brings England, back into the game, and then the momentum shifts. And I think it just goes to show the power of the team and the power of the individuals. And I think all credit has to go to Wiegman for facilitating that environment for the players to shine. And, this is the birth of some very exciting football careers, Michelle Agyman being one, but also other players as well. You look at likes of Alex Greenwood and Lauren Hemp, they showed the most incredible characteristics of resilience and how hard you have to work to go after something you really, really want. And their contribution to the team, last night and throughout the whole tournament was absolutely remarkable. So many little subplots coming out of 1 to 23 in the playing squad. But I think we all know, the credit all goes to Wiegman and what she's done with this group.
And of course, they'll then go back to their clubs, Izzy, won't they? The WSL is coming up quickly. That will inspire their teammates, who will probably think, well, if she can do it and she can do it, then why can't I do it? And because they're colleagues and role models, but they're also in the same team. So it's going to be great for the growth of WSL, and the next generation of players are going to be playing alongside them quite probably.
Yeah, I mean, you can't not look at the win last night and be inspired. And you're totally right in terms of these players are going to go home to their clubs after they've had a break and be reunited with their club structure and their club programs, getting ready for this new WSL season, which will arguably be the biggest and best yet, that we're going to embark upon very soon at the start of September. So I think these players will have had more of an impact on their teammates than they'll ever know. They'll have had more impact on their families than they'll ever know, and also the fans. The pictures there we're seeing of the young boys and girls, the impact is massive. And I really do believe that this will transcend into the domestic league, and the 12 teams that are competing in the WSL for next 12 teams that are competing in the WSL season. Now I think we're looking forward to one of the most exciting WSL seasons we've ever had. And this win will certainly provide this huge undercurrent of interest and support, and new fans to the game as well, which is going to be brilliant to see their role models playing week in, week out.
Yeah, how important is it that English football does capitalise on this success, Izzy?
I think it's huge. I think we can feel the impact, but how it will last will be. It's almost like the momentum of the previous Euro win was almost running out, and then they've just gone and done it again, and they've lit the fire again inside the game in our country. And I think if you look at the FA and you look at the pathway downwards, from to the under-23s, the 19s, the under-17 girls teams, and I just think that it's in a very good place to bulletproof the future of our game. The amount of talent and the talent pools are getting bigger and bigger, which means that the domestic game is going to thrive. And ultimately, we want the national team to continue to be dominant, not just in Europe but across the world as well. And I think if you're asking what's next around the Lionesses, obviously the World Cup in a couple of years, they will go there with a huge target on their backs, and one which we know they deal with the pressure of being champions, that they can go and do it again.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the World Cup, because that obviously is the next step. It's in South America. Does that cause problems given heat and different challenges, and what chances do you give the team?
Well, firstly, regarding the heat, I was out in Switzerland for the first week of the tournament, and it was really warm. And I think England, well, they didn't get off to the best of starts against France, but that's way in the past now, and they rectified that. And it will, like you say, it will present such a different challenge being on different soil over in South America. And this team are so well equipped, well resourced. The home of England at St George's Park is providing the most incredible kind of hub for the teams to train and prepare for major tournaments. And we've seen and felt that impact here now, where we are now, with the team arriving home from Switzerland, having gone and done the business out there. And they'll put together another 2-year cycle, and who knows who will be the next players coming through to emerge. And I think it's really exciting to see where the game's going to be in the next couple of years, but that certainly has to be the focus now, to gear up towards that, and with a whole new set of fans on board as well, with wanting them to go to the World Cup and become world champions as well.